It started on a morning that looked completely ordinary from the outside. Sunlight spilling through the kitchen window, the kettle humming, and Ben Shephard wandering around in his usual half-awake, half-chaotic routine. But for Annie, that morning carried a choice she had quietly thought about for weeks. A choice she knew would reshape their life together. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't tragic. It wasn't anything close to the rumors that would later swirl online. It was simply a decision from the heart. Annie would be stepping back from her work with ITV to spend more time with Ben, not because she had to, but because she genuinely wanted to. For years, Annie had balanced everything like a pro. Family, career, schedules, life's endless curveballs. And she did it with a level of grace that made people wonder if she secretly had superpowers. But recently, she noticed something shifting. Ben's schedule had grown busier, more demanding, stretching him thin in ways even he wouldn't admit. He was fine, of course. Still joking, still smiling, still doing that thing where he lost his phone even though it was literally in his hand. But Annie felt it. Lives get busy, seasons change, and sometimes love asks you to adjust. So she made her choice. She walked into the kitchen where Ben was staring at the toaster with the seriousness of a man about to negotiate world peace. She gently nudged him aside, grabbed the burnt toast before he could pretend it wasn't burnt, and said casually, "I'm stepping back from work for a while." Ben blinked. "Wait, what? Because of my cooking?" She laughed. "Partly, but mostly because I want to be around more, for us." For a moment, Ben didn't know what to say. The usually quick-witted presenter suddenly found his brain running on dial-up internet speeds. He could interview presidents, athletes, actors, but when the woman he loved told him she was choosing him and their life together, that hit differently. "You don't have to give anything up for me," he murmured finally. "I'm not giving anything up," she replied softly. "I'm choosing something better." And just like that, the decision was made. Not as a sacrifice, but as a celebration of their partnership. Of course, the news eventually leaked, and the internet did what it always does, explode with theories. Some said she was retiring forever. Others said she was making a grand emotional exit. A few people randomly blamed Mercury being in retrograde. But the truth? Annie just wanted more mornings with her husband. More spontaneous afternoons, more moments that didn't involve rushing from one place to another. Ben tried to act cool about it, but he was secretly thrilled. His way of showing appreciation, however, was questionable at best. He attempted to cook dinner one night, but forgot to turn on the oven. He also tried to surprise Annie with flowers, but accidentally bought a bouquet meant for a retirement party. When she teased him, he dramatically clutched his chest and said, "This is why I need supervision." She rolled her eyes, smiling. Supervision, yes. A fire extinguisher, maybe. Their house soon became filled with small adventures. With Annie home more often, they started doing things they never had time for before. They tried yoga together. Ben toppled over 5 minutes in. They took up gardening. Ben managed to plant everything upside down. They hosted game nights. Ben lost every round, even the ones he made the rules for. Every day became a cocktail of love, chaos, laughter, and the occasional near disaster. But it was during the quieter moments that Annie realized she made the right choice. Ben would come home from work looking tired, but instantly brighten the moment he saw her. They'd sit on the couch with tea, talk about absolutely nothing, and still feel like it was the best part of the day. One evening, as they sat outside watching the sunset paint the sky in soft pinks and golds, Ben turned to her with a seriousness she didn't expect. "Why now, though?" he asked. "You've always been so passionate about your work. Why step back at this moment?" Annie looked at him with the softness of someone who had already made peace with her answer. "Because sometimes life tells you to slow down." She reached for his hand. "And sometimes the person you love is the reason you listen." Ben didn't respond immediately. He wasn't the type to get emotional easily, not publicly, anyway. But in that quiet moment, he felt grateful in a way words couldn't quite express. He squeezed her hand. "You know, you're the best decision I've ever been part of." She laughed lightly. "Even better than your decision to cut your own hair last month?" He groaned. "Please don't bring that up. I'm still traumatized." Their laughter filled the air, blending with the fading light of the day. Their life wasn't perfect, but it was theirs. It was full of love, mess, effort, and moments that mattered more than achievements or titles. And while Annie had stepped back from one chapter, she stepped forward into another, one filled with deeper connection, new adventures, and the joy of rediscovering a life lived slower but lived better. Weeks later, when asked in an interview about the change, Ben smiled and said, "Sometimes the bravest thing someone can do is choose love over routine. And sometimes the luckiest thing is being the person they choose." Annie, watching the interview from home, shook her head with an affectionate grin. "He's still dramatic, but he's my dramatic." Their story wasn't about sacrifice or sorrow. It was about partnership, laughter, renewal, and the courage to choose what truly matters. And for anyone watching from afar, it became a reminder that in a world obsessed with rushing, stepping back can sometimes be the most powerful move of all. If you enjoy stories filled with heart, humor, renewal, and unexpected joy, stay tuned. There's always another chapter waiting.